Disney News Update time is here. Hello, everyone. Wade for the Kingdom Report back with you once again, covering all the latest Disney news stories from coast to coast and around the world. Starting out west at the Disneyland Resort today, where some very exciting news is upon us. USA Today is reporting that there will be something different about Disney's beloved Main Street Electrical Parade when it returns to its California park this spring. The classic nighttime parade at Disneyland is getting a grand new finale in honor of its 50th anniversary, featuring stylized scenes from more than a dozen films, including Encanto and The Princess and the Frog. The finale's theme is togetherness, and it will feature a new 7-segment float that stretches 118 feet in length, making it one of the longest and grandest sequences in the parade's history, the park announced Tuesday, along with the return dates for popular nighttime spectaculars, which have been on hiatus during the pandemic. Main Street Electrical Parade and Disneyland Forever Fireworks will return to Disneyland on April 22nd for a limited time. World of Color will also return to Disney California Adventure on the same date, and Fantasmic will return to Disneyland on May the 28th. How pumped are you to finally see nighttime spectaculars back at the Disneyland Resort? We've been watching all of the progress in every single one of our Disneyland updates, haven't we? If you've been watching our in-park updates here on the channel, you know that we've been following the progress in the rebuilding of the World of Color Lagoon platform, which was essentially left to rot during the pandemic. They've had to rebuild that from the ground up, and then on top of it, they've been doing all kinds of work since last September on Fantasmic's infrastructure, and now we are looking forward to having some new floats arrive to the Main Street Electrical Parade when it returns to Disneyland as well. Very excited for springtime as the Disneyland Resort comes alive at night once again. And from foodsided.com comes the following. They say, while it's been decades since Wolfgang Puck started a movement with the celebration of California cuisine, Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival proves that fresh, seasonal local food is always flavorful. In this year's Disneyland Food Festival, guests will want to sip and savor throughout the delicious Disney chef offerings. Running March 3rd through April 26th, the return of the favorite food festival features a variety of marketplaces, special events, and new interactive experiences. Since food is often the reason why guests head on over to this Disney California Adventure Park event, this year's offerings will be sure to delight everyone. And although Epcot food festivals might draw inspiration from countries, the Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival is focusing on a range of communities by weaving personal stories into the feast. Each dish has a unique flavor that unfolds beyond the plate. Across the festival marketplaces, Disney chefs are using California-grown ingredients as the focus of many dishes. From sweet treats like caramel peanut milk chocolate Mickey macaroon to savory options like a carbonara garlic mac and cheese with peppered bacon, there will be a taste that tempts every preference. If you're looking forward to the California Adventure Food and Wine Festival, like I said, it's on the way, running March 3rd through April the 26th. Are you somebody who makes a special trip out to California Adventure just for the Food and Wine Festival? It has been a while since the traditional Food and Wine Festival has been in effect, and it will be great to see it back. Let us know in the comments if this is something you are excited about, if you're looking forward to, if you make a trip around it. As always, your perspective does matter. And we move out east to Walt Disney World now, where thetakeout.com is reporting that something's rotten in the state of Disney. Apparently, your trip to Disney World is poised to become more expensive due to supply chain issues, at least according to the Disney Food blog. There are a few different ways that the supply chain is causing headaches for Disney tourists. As DFB explains, the orange crops aren't doing so well in Florida this year. In fact, it's predicted to be the worst orange yield in 75 years, meaning orange juice at Disney World is going to get pricier. Since citrus fruit has a particular connection with the Disney parks, DFB warns that the prices on OJ will soon rise due to the orange shortage. Increasing the price of orange juice and other menu items in the parks in order to keep up with costs is a plan that would make sense if Disney were a small business, but it's not, obviously. As of last year, the Walt Disney Company's assets amounted to over $200 billion. So, they could probably do everyone a solid and cover the rising costs on their end if they wanted to. As someone whose daily routine includes visiting the Wall Street Journal homepage, they write, and immediately bashing her head with a rock, I am first to admit that I don't know how bad the supply chain crisis is in the current moment compared to when it overtook headlines the last few months of 2021 and before that, the summer of 2020. But however bad the situation might be, Disney, we beg you to be reasonable. Blaming your problems on supply chain issues is so last year. We're talking about inflation now. Why, for example, are the grapes at my local grocery store $10 right now? They weren't even good, she writes. It turns out that inflation is a factor, or at the very least, that's what Disney claims. The company is looking into alternatives to raising prices, such as making portion sizes smaller, in between wading through rivers of screaming children, standing in line for hours just to ride a nausea-inducing roller coaster, and figuring out how to fix the snagged zipper on the contraband goofy costume stolen from an employee locker room. It's already exhausting enough spending a day at Disney World. And now Mickey Mouse is Venmo requesting you for supply chain LOL. The Disney adults out there deal with enough hardship as it is, presumably. But an experience is an experience, she writes, and if you're planning on taking your family to Disney World, you're already expecting to shell out cash. If you have fun and it all feels worth it for the memories, then hey, I guess it works out in the end. Once again, our many thanks to thetakeout.com's Rima Parikh for that story. Yes, as inflation has soared and supply chain issues continue to be a problem, we are noticing significant price increases throughout the parks, not just at Walt Disney World, but also at Disneyland. Is there something unique that you've noticed recently in terms of your day-to-day life where prices are just higher and they were never that way before? We would love to hear from you as always to kind of round out this concept of inflation permeating every square inch of our lives, including our Disney World and Disneyland experience, unfortunately. CBS 47 reports that catching a ride to the most magical place on Earth will soon get a lot easier. Brightline announced Tuesday it's completed its first major construction zone to connect the Orlando International Airport to Walt Disney World. Plans for the train that would take passengers to and from the airport to Disney World is picking up speed on construction. That line, by the way, will have a station at Disney Springs. The company says they made significant progress in part of one of their most complex construction zones for the line, that is Zone 2. Saying, quote, "The completion in Zone 2 is a major milestone for the Brightline construction and engineering team as we continue to work towards the completion of the corridor to Orlando from West Palm Beach," said Donald Jello, project manager at Brightline, through the company's press release. If you'll remember, Disney recently did away with its exclusive resort bus service to and from the airport. According to the release, the Orlando extension is 70% complete and employs more than 1,300 daily construction workers and is scheduled to be finished by the end of 2022. Meanwhile, there's no official opening date set yet on the train's line, which specifically runs from the airport to Disney World. Does the Brightline train sound like something you would use upon arriving to Orlando International Airport to drop you off at Disney Springs? No doubt that station at Disney Springs will bring you to a place where they have a bus hub that can take you over to your resort. All you got to do is wait where you would normally wait to be picked up and dropped off if you were staying at a Walt Disney World resort, and that'll take you on in. Does this sound like a good alternative to the now defunct and retired Disney's Magical Express? Certainly, it can get you there a whole lot quicker. We would love to know your opinion. Make sure to leave it in our comment section down below. And now you are up to date. For more information regarding Disney parks and for the latest breaking stories, make sure you are subscribed to us with that notification bell turned on. And if you appreciate what we do here, a thumbs up is always appreciated as well. For the Kingdom Report, I'm Wade Heath. We'll see you next time for another installment of the Disney News Update.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.